we think of the next generation, we tend to focus on teenagers, our next generation of leaders. What about our children? My next guest, Mohammed Cherhabil, is only 13 years old. He's probably the most articulate 13-year-old I've ever met. And for a generation raised on the newest technology, are they intimidated or skeptical of the blockchain? Let's find out. Mohammed, welcome to the Daily Drop.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much, Mr. Bobby, for having me here. And I'm super excited to talk about the metaverse.
Right. But okay, so let's start with your details. How old are you?
I'm 13. I was born in a very special year, politically, academically, 2008.
I mean, look, for anyone who doesn't know Mohammed, we met on Clubhouse. He's very, very charming, very precocious, and I think it's going to be a really good episode. But okay, let's get into how you grew up, because also it is instructive, right? So you essentially grew up with this technology. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah, I was growing up. I didn't hear about NFTs or anything until the last 3 years. But growing up, a lot of people, NFTs and crypto was really at a good time towards 2014 and everything. And there was a YouTuber, many others who said, you should buy this. It's going to blow up. I didn't hear about those as well until like last 4 years. So I got into the metaverse or technology as a kid. But this aspect of technology is the development aspect, because there's TikTok, Instagram Reels, Facebook, and games and all that stuff. But then the development aspect, where you have actual doctors, actual academic scientists, actual people who give value. And yeah, I more so tend to go onto this side because I found more value and I like to spread knowledge.
I mean, it's crazy because you're 13 years old and you're spreading knowledge. But what's funny is that you clearly have a grasp of the blockchain that people double, triple, 4 times your age aren't going to have, right? So let's just go back to what you said, though. You've been hearing about the blockchain, crypto, NFTs for how many years? Do you say 4 years?
Yeah.
And how did you hear about it? Like, is it like that you're seeking that information out? Is it like everybody your age is sort of talking about the blockchain? Like, how does that work?
To be honest, am I allowed to, say the name of a YouTuber or so?
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, I'm used to watching a lot of, articles, documentaries, and then on the flip side, I like to watch games because, what you can do in a game is designed so you can do something that you can't do in real life. And they have this meme, right? Because they do meme time. They're Jacksepticeye, that's their name. They do meme time, and it's like, it shows people talking about NFTs, yada, yada, and I just go ahead and I search it up. That was around 2017, 2018, so around 4 to 5 years then. And I decided, I'm going to search this up, NFT, non-fungible token. I learned about it. I wanted to start minting, flipping, then academics, content creation, public speaking, Coursera certificates, because I'm certified in multiple fields. So I got to work on being a content creator. And from there, I just picked up the essentials, and now I'm expanding, basically.
So, okay, but let's check that back. So was it like the gaming economy? Because GameFi is a big part of this ecosystem. So it was really like you were gaming, and then they're starting to use a lot of NFTs and crypto in gaming. That's for our audience. Yeah. So that's where you first heard about it, right?
Yeah, there are many NFT arenas. There are specifically NFT games. To be honest, I don't think people who create these don't know the value. I think the people who play, because they're like, ooh, fun game, why not try? But in reality, it's like attention's gonna go where the future is. So you're not gonna find a movie talking about the past, well, specific points of the past, get a lot more views than a movie talking about a fictional future. So that's how I think most people are thinking. They saw people with big ideas, big following talk about NFTs, and it's blowing up now.
Right. Look, and I think that's important for our audience to understand, right? Is, because even though you're, I don't know, maybe the smartest 13-year-old I ever met, I mean, you still have many more years to go. So it's like, how are we reaching this generation? It's like really, really through gaming, through YouTube, Look, it's a fascinating conversation. So let's go to break, and I want to get more into how you're viewing the future here on the Daily Drop. Welcome back to the Daily Drop. Okay, so Mohammed, let's talk a little bit about technology, because I think it's really interesting. You know, like because I didn't grow up, like we didn't have the internet until I was in high school. When I was like graduating from high school, where I imagine, you know, your earliest memories of being a child involve like pretty complex technology. Like, is that fair?
Pretty much, yeah. I don't have a phone. I didn't grow up with technology as much as growing up with outdoor. Since I was a kid, my mom decided to teach me languages. And that was the only time technology has been amplified and extended in my life. Because without technology, I can't really get to know the alphabet in English or in French or in Arabic because I used it for learning purposes.
Yeah, because also like with school, with the pandemic and everything, like there was a lot of online education, right? So you really, in a way, like the technology is a vital part of your development.
Exactly. It's 100%. It always could have been if it was invented earlier. But thank God it was invented in our era because we get to explore it more than you guys do. But in my idea, like technology is a great way into development. It's just that you can't control an untamed animal. So technology is basically now an open book. You can write whatever you want, put any software, any application on it, viruses, diseases, whatever. It's basically become the new world. Since in the world, if you put out a virus, a disease, people have to deal with it. You do as well. But if you know what to do and what not to do, you're okay. It's that the people that do tend to make things worse know how to stay away from it, and it's just become the secondary world. You know, there was Web 2 because that was Instagram.
Let's pause here, Mohammed, because you said something very interesting though, right? Because it's really about knowing that technology is a way to sort of guard yourself against all the sort of nefarious things that could come your way, right? Like, you know, sort of the evil that can come your way if you don't know the technology, right? But I will say, so this show is interesting because we have a lot of people who do not understand anything about crypto. They do not understand the metaverse. They do not understand Web3, which is fine. These are very smart people too, but they're sort of intimidated by the technology. But for your generation, you were raised on technology, right? So it's different, right? Like you seem to me like you're pretty comfortable learning new technologies. Is that correct?
100%. I feel like I actually like to learn about artificial intelligence, about IT, since I am an IT support specialist, a Google IT support specialist. I like to learn a lot about technology because in the future, most normal, average, low salary jobs may get replaced by robots. So yeah, I'm pretty sure maybe thousands of years later, if we're still alive, hopefully, we're going to have unemployed people and we're still going to have to give them a salary. So technology is frightening, yet very useful at the same time. And if the robot invasion happens, at least I've got my cryptocurrency.
Well, look, if the robot invasion happens, I'm hiding behind you. I trust you more than myself, Mohammed. But okay, here's a question: blockchain. What do you think of it? What's like from your point of view? What do you think of the blockchain?
I mean, for the people that don't know, this is just an information that I've picked up the last year or so, the last 3 months actually. I've read about it, and Satoshi Nakamoto, the pseudo name of the creator of the blockchain, created it to sell things online without being detected. You know, he wanted to say, it just said sold from this IP address to this IP address. It didn't say the name, didn't say the person. Anyways, it was basically meant to do illegal purposes. But now we're using it to do great things. You see, people can ruin stuff, but also people can improve on stuff.
Well, let me get in for a second. Okay, so, but instead of people, like, let's talk about people your age, right? Because I think it's very interesting. Are you guys using the blockchain? Like, are you actively, like, are you, you know, giving NFTs to each other? Do you transact with crypto?
There's different generations. Like Alpha and Beta are going to grow up with NFTs, but my generation, Gen Z, most of the time they're focusing on Web 2 because that's what their parents and their older friends grew up with as well. So they're more inflicted on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook side. Of course, there are millionaire kids from all around the world, Iran, America, making $4 million, $1 million on just selling their NFTs.
Yeah, and look, we're here not here to advocate NFTs and the financial. I just have to say that for our audience, but I think it's clear that you really know the technology, even being so young, which is fascinating. But we're going to have more with Mohammed when we get back to the break on the Daily Drop. Welcome back to the Daily Drop. Okay, so Mohammed, let's talk about the future in terms of cryptocurrency, right? Very fascinating to get your point of view here. So right now, crypto is kind of a niche thing. Some people use it. Not everybody's using it, but there are people who believe that cryptocurrency is going to be the future, where you may actually use crypto instead of a bank. So I guess that's my question to you to start. Like, would you be comfortable using cryptocurrency instead of a bank account?
Not at all, because if we think about it, this is one of the smallest possibilities. But people who are very poor, paranoid like me, it's just, I prefer something that's real and touchable over something that's digital. Unless we actually enter the metaverse, I won't be comfortable using a cryptocurrency, crypto wallet, or anything like that over not my bank account. I prefer to have it on my account because the bank is the worst. It's just I prefer something touchable like real estate, property, those types of things over cryptocurrency. But since it is growing, we must adapt and grow with it.
Look, I appreciate your honesty, and I don't know, you're like a 58-year-old man in a 13-year-old's body, which is amazing. But also I appreciate it because you articulate, I think, how your generation sort of thinks and feels like very well. But okay, so let's focus on your peers. Like, are people your age, your peers, are they using crypto right now? Is it a common thing or is it kind of a niche thing?
For me, here in my region, it's pretty rare. But around the world, I can't really judge because you see, they're getting influenced by a lot of great influencers. Eventually, even on games, platforms, NFTs is bound to hit 1 or 2 13-year-olds in every square kilometer, or square mile. It's bound to get to the point to where we have to use it because instead of asking your parents for allowance, go mine crypto.
Right. No, but it's interesting, right? Because there's a gap too, right, between sort of people your age and your parents, right? So are you finding that I don't know, sometimes you talk about crypto, NFTs, metaverse, this kind of thing, and your parents have no idea what you're talking about, or is it a conversation you're having together?
My dad, yeah, he knows. He's like, this is such hard stuff. How do you know all this? Old, no, I wouldn't say old, but they pretty much are old. People with older generations tend to be afraid to enter new places. We act just like animals. If you're entering a new territory, you gotta smell it, you gotta understand how it is, get the feel of it. So they still haven't got the full feel of it yet. So they're not 100% comfortable, but they're in a way comfortable with me learning about it so I can teach them. I'm like the translator. Computer words, a compiler, and I just say it in plain English or Arabic.
I mean, that's brilliant what you just said, though, right? And I love the way that you phrase that as well. So you really are like a bit of like a technology interpreter for older generations.
Yeah, because older generations need to catch up. If you're still going to live until you're 90, 80, 70, you're going to at least get to know what's important for you to know if you ever want to get a secondary job.
Yeah, no, you're actually 100% correct. You're bang on. But okay, so do you find that it's pretty easy for you to learn the new technology? Or like, do you take classes in school for that? Like how easy is it when there's something new? Because there's all this new technology in the blockchain, depending on what aspect of the ecosystem you're looking at. How hard is it for you to wrap your brain around those things?
When it comes to cryptocurrency, it's like the way crypto blew up is People put their money into crypto because someone told them to. Probably the richest man in the world, I think. Elon Musk, of course, and other people as well. They got influenced, and it was like a domino effect. So everyone put their money in, and then once crypto was engulfed with money, it was millions. When it was millions, people took their money out. It's like if you say, I'm going to put $10 on this car, and I'm the first person to put $10. If billions of people put $5 and you come to take your money, you take your money with everyone else's because you started first. And that's how mainly the blockchain works. Since there's crypto, Dogecoin, Ethereum, NFTs is usually with Ethereum, cryptocurrency with Bitcoin. So basically, these are the big three of cryptocurrency.
I mean, look, I think it's interesting that, some of these terms you really do understand. But again, like you're just a child. It's not like you have a crypto show like I do. But it's amazing to me how literate you are just as a normal human being. Welcome back to the Daily Drop. See how I did that? Okay, so we're here with Mohammed, who is, I don't know. Are you the smartest kid in the universe? I don't know. You're up there. But I do want to talk about the future, okay? So the future. A blockchain. What do you think? Where do you think all of this blockchain stuff goes, really, for your generation?
I mean, if we're talking about how it's going to affect us, my generation is going to be like the boomers and the millennials. Gen Zs, alphas, and then betas are Gen Zs, basically, to give you a representation. We're here. We're learning about NFTs, cryptocurrencies. We're growing up with them, starting from now or from people who are still young, their age. Basically, 15, 14, 16, that's the time you start to understand and adapt because you want to gain money. Okay, we start thinking passive income anyway, get a job, do this, do that. So it's going to affect us a lot in the next generation as well.
It's really interesting that you phrase it that way, though. So you really view the blockchain, crypto, this is the future of money. So I guess what you're saying is, as your generation grows into adults, where you need money, right, to sort of live in the world, that's where you think all the opportunity for growth is in the blockchain.
Yeah, 100%. To me, kids my age, grown-ups, adults, everyone's learning about it because there's a huge tide, right? And I'm sort of late to the tide.
Right, but really, it's like you really view that space in terms of money, right? That you kind of need that because that's where your careers are going to go.
That's because most people are going to start thinking, dough. Everyone wants the money, but you got to have the skills to pay the bills.
I like how you said that. You're very charming. You're very charming, Mohammed. Okay, let me ask you a question. Are you generally optimistic or pessimistic about the future?
So listen, I've got two ideas, right?
Okay.
If we're thinking about a future that I'm planning, like plan A, plan B, plan C, I'm going to have all the way every plan until plan Z, right? But if we're talking about a future of development, I know that every day just talking to someone, just looking at something, I'm going to gain an atom of realization that I still know nothing. If you actually do know everything, you'd be able to name every material, how it works physically, how you are mentally, you'd be able to fix your state. So the more I learn, the more I realize I know less.
Well, that's the Dunning-Kruger effect in motion. You figured it out intuitively, which is brilliant. Okay, well, let me ask you a question, Mohammed. If you could say anything to the parents of the future regarding your generation, what would it be?
Well, first of all, an important part is that you buy my merch, buy my books, Life Essentials. But when it comes to, in all seriousness, cryptocurrency, Web 2, Web 3, all this stuff is important, but focus on the real world as well. Because you need, like, you can be behind the screen typing everything, doing that, this. You need to have social skills because when you're making an actual deal on a fair, when you're actually applying for that $1 billion job, or are you actually acting? Because no robot's going to be able to act better than some of our greatest actors in the world. You're going to have to actually socialize, unfortunately. I'm literally an introvert, right? It doesn't seem like it, but I have two modes. I have the silent mode, which is when I'm usually outside, when I'm inside, when I'm working, and then entrepreneur mode is when I'm on shows, Clubhouse, Instagram, etc.
Mohammed, it's unbelievable. You're 13 years old, and you've just figured so much stuff out. And look, and obviously there's more to learn, but I see you writing books. I see you as an influencer, and I'm happy that you came to my show. Appreciate you, dude.
Thank you so much. Be sure to subscribe, follow, do everything else.
All right. Well, thank you, Mohammed. You got to come back, and we appreciate you. Thanks for coming.
See ya.
Technology is a continuum. Its real impact likely won't be felt from our current generations. It will be our children who inherit the technology that we create. So what kind of responsibility does that leave us with? Are we building to create more luxury for the next few years of our lives? Or are we creating the rails of a new planet yet to be lived by our children and their children? We'll see you next time on The Daily Drop.